Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Wings Podcast. This is your host, Milind Agnihotri. On today's show, we will meet Mrunalini Bhave, who works as a senior HR officer in an international firm. Mrunalini is a devoted Bharatanatyam dancer, a student, and a teacher. She believes that this heritage should be preserved and passed on to many emerging dancers. Mrunalini is also interested in reading, painting, and gardening. Welcome, Mrunalini, to this episode of Wings Podcast.
Hello, Milind. Hello, listeners.
Mrunalini, this is I think you're probably the first person I am meeting on the Wings Podcast who is a beautiful combination of, a Bharatanatyam dancer as well as working in a corporate job and kind of playing both the roles. So, before we kind of begin this conversation, let me invite you and ask you is, how do you see yourself being a dancer and a corporate person at the same time?
Every person has her career side and hobby side. So it's a balancing act for everyone. And I would say I'm lucky in terms of having Bharatanatyam as a hobby because I can utilize dance properties like Abhinaya while dealing in day to day office matters such as solving problems, talking to employees, upper management, etc. So sometimes I would say it is Tandav and sometimes it is Padam.
So Tandav, I mean, I can understand. Tandav is the dance form that Lord Shiva is known for. Essentially, it's very, my knowledge of dance is only theoretical. But what is Padam?
Padam is the Abhinaya where you express with the help of expressions and pure movements. It is like acting, reacting. There is no nritya or nritya part is involved. It is pure form of storytelling.
So what you're saying is when you are in your corporate role working as a senior HR officer, you're actually, playing both the dance form, the Tandav as well as the Padam, which is
Yeah.
so beautifully put. So Mrunalini, how did you find your love for dance? How did it all start for you? Was there any somebody who inspired you to look at this dance form? How old were you? And how did this journey start for you?
So choosing Bharatanatyam as hobby was a pure coincidence. I was invited for Arangetram of my cousin. I was maybe 10 years old with no history of learning dance of any kind. So that certain day, the whole event mesmerized me. It captured my heart. That's where it all started. And after coming back home, I insisted my parents to find a Bharatanatyam guru as soon as possible. So, you see, I was very eager to learn the dance, and that's why I am in this stage of my life where Bharatanatyam is now everything to me.
You said a beautiful word of being a storyteller, but isn't it so difficult when you have to tell a story through a dance movement? Of course there is some background recitation of some song, etc., that does happen, but then I think as a viewer, whenever I have seen a dance performance, especially Bharatanatyam, my attention is actually on the dancer, what she is performing on the stage, not so much on the music that gets played. So how is the preparation that one Bharatanatyam dancer has to go through to emote through body movements? I'm sure, of course, there's a technique and a science to it, but then what were your early experiences in learning and getting ready for storytelling through dance?
Usually or traditionally, Bharatanatyam was taught at very young age just to embed the basic mudras and adabus. As the years progress, the maturity of the dancers grow with it, meaning the core difference between nritya and nritta is understood. This level of maturity also helps to understand what abhinaya is, which is the most important aspect of Bharatanatyam dance form. So, for a Bharatanatyam student, it takes 7 to 8 years of commitment to the training to complete Arangetram, which is equivalent to graduation.
How old were you when you started your first dance steps? You said,
I was in fourth standard.
but that was a time, that is an age where kids have fun. I mean, they do all kinds of things, and this is really something serious that you kind of chose to get into. So, what was the typical 8 or 10 year old Mrunalini like?
Before I was introduced to Bharatanatyam, I was a typical studious girl who loved nothing but study and playing with friends all the day. At the time, my dream was to become a banker, which is kind of funny when I look at it now. But when Bharatanatyam was got introduced, it became my dream and my life.
Yeah.
They say that any art form, whether it is visual arts or performing arts, the role of a guru plays a very, very, very important role, and it's not just one guru, but that maybe there are many gurus on the way. As in, when you are ready, probably you come across those gurus. So how has been your journey in meeting various gurus in your life as a Bharatanatyam dancer? Who are they? What is it that you kind of learn from them, and what do they mean to you? What is it that they represent to you in your life?
So, when I first started learning Bharatanatyam, neither my parents nor me had idea where to start the dance class. Initially, I started taking training from a place close to my house, and I learned there for 3 4 years. After that, I went to Arundhati Patwardhan. She was the teacher who introduced me to the real world of Bharatanatyam. She inspired me and taught me so many things that I still feel are useful even after 15 years. I did my Arangetram under her guidance, and as I said before, Arangetram is a very big deal in Bharatanatyam. And right now, since 5 years, I am learning from Parimal Phadke sir, who is a guide in literal sense to many students who are working professionally as a dancer. His choreographies and other dance material he has is brilliant. Every time for any new rachana, it is an unending learning experience for us.
Any performance experience that you remember which uh, really made you very proud of yourself, whether it is with Arundhati Tai or with Parimal sir?
So, in my dance career, I had an opportunity to participate in couple of big productions. One was under my guru, and one was under DCI DR production. The first experience was really exciting because we were performing with Parimal sir under his production. So we performed on the auspicious occasion of Mahashivratri. It was at Yogiraj Siddhanath Ashram near Khadakwasla. Obviously, theme was centered around Lord Shiva due to Mahashivratri. The story for this choreography is something like this. Lord Shiva is at Kailash mountain, and his followers, whom we call them as Ganas, you might know few of them as Ganpati, Nandi, Kartikeya, Gandharva. etc. They are trying to reach Kailash, but they were stopped by Rakshasas, the demons on the way. Each Gana tries to fight one by one, but fails to defeat them all. I was playing Kartikeya, so even Kartikeya tries to fight them, but he also feels helpless. He sits on his Mayura Vahana and flies off to meet and request Lord Shiva to destroy all the Rakshasas who are doing unjust in the world. So here no Prema Bhava, Vatsalya Bhava was involved in that. Raudra Rasa was the main basis of the whole choreography because of war or the fight scene. I had to feel I was enraged the way Kartikeya felt by seeing Rakshasas blocking their way. So, imagining platoons of Rakshasas in front of me instead of audience was a real challenge. So, Prema Bhava, Vatsalya Bhava is but natural. Not much efforts are to be taken to show off such incidents. But while showing Raudra Rasa, you have to show your 100% in natural anger, and which was a learning for me. So basically, what I feel is dance is in every feeling, in every emotion. It is a rhythmatic expression what you or one person can feel. A 10-year-old little girl showing a Krishna in her choreography will be a naughty Krishna, and 16, 18-year girl showing a Krishna will be a pure love that she feels about. Whereas 25-year or 30-year-old woman will show her anger towards him for coming late and keeping her wait. And 45-year-old woman will fight and ask Krishna to leave, to just leave and go to other women. So there are different emotions according to their stages and maturity that one have. Of course, everyone's perception and understanding of the character is different, but dance and emotions are everywhere. Dance should be the hunger of every dancer for herself or himself during this process.
You explained this range of emotions, taking this beautiful example of the protagonist or the Naayikaa at different ages in her life, relating to the same person called Krishna on the other side. Obviously, at different ages, the Naayikaa experiences a very different emotion in herself, right? And when you're performing a dance, act, I wonder if one of the goal is also to make the audience experience the same emotion. Is that what happens?
So, while choosing the story or narration of the dance depends on few things. It varies from event to event. For example, if we are performing in a temple, we will only perform or select stories related to God. If it's a competition, then we will choose a story with lot of drama. The reason we do this is the audience who comes to see, they must get the meaning and they should enjoy very easily. I want to give you an example to further explain this. It's one of the most known stories of Lord Krishna and his mother Yashoda. So Yashoda is convincing her little Krishna, saying, Krishnani begane baroni mukhavanna toru. To come to her, to, he's playing with the mud. She says, Krishna, come here. Let's play with this ball. Let's play with our pets. Or should I give you some butter to eat? But no, he is still playing in that mud. So Yashoda goes there and asks Krishna to open his mouth. And then Krishna shows whole world to her. So this is how it should be known to audience. It is kind of study.
No, undoubtedly, I think maybe, I'm actually reminded about, uh, an event which I had the privilege and an honor to host a few years back, where I was the I don't know what should I say, the compare or sutradhar, if I can use the dance form word, sutra sanchalak or sutradhar, where on the stage I had the privilege and an honor to interact with Sucheta Tai Bide Chapekar, one of the greatest Bharatanatyam dancers of India. And, as a part of the conversation, she narrated a very beautiful personal experience, which actually, tells us as to how, the audience of a dance need not know the context or the story, but then if the dance form itself evokes the emotion. So she was telling about, one of her tours that she went to Kenya in Africa. And, this was on her second tour, if I recall, she was saying that, she and her troupe used to go to, not just the big towns in Kenya, but the smaller towns also. And they had a tempo, kind of a small minivan with an African driver, same person who would drive them from town A to town B to town C, etc., etc. And then, when they would kind of perform in a small auditorium or maybe even an open air theater there, this driver would wait outside, in the car for them or the van for them. And he used to often wonder, why are so many people gathering to see these people whom he's taking them everywhere? He had never seen any of their dance. So he kind of got curious. And, on one occasion, Suchetatai said that he actually entered the small auditorium and he sat there. And Suchetatai was performing a small story, again relating to Krishna, where little Yashoda, Yashoda is trying to put little Krishna to sleep. Like it happens anywhere in the world, mothers, tell stories to their kids so that they go to sleep. And then Suchetatai said that she used to kind of perform, a small act where Yashoda Ma is telling little Krishna the story of Ram, Lakshman, Sita, and a whole Ramayana, etc., etc. And then the performance kind of ends. Suchitatai said at the end of the performance, they went back to the van and saw this driver. He was feeling extremely sad, and he was almost crying. And Suchitatai asked him, "What happened? Why are you crying?" She said, "Are you not feeling well?" He says, No, I'm okay. I just came and saw your dance performance for the first time." He says, "Then why are you crying? Did you not like what I did?" He says, "No, ma'am, it's not that. I wish my wife was there. I wish my child was there. A little child was there. I'm kind of reminded of them right now, of my wife and my little child." So Suchitatai said that how this little performance that she gave, actually, for an African who had no idea of who is Ram, who is Yashoda, who is Krishna, nothing. All he knew was a mother is trying to put a child to sleep. And just that emotional experience that happened, took this driver to another plane.
Even I would like to share one experience of her performance. It is a padam on mother-daughter relationship. Wordings are Ladake Ragau Tuzakashi in Marathi. Daughter has come home after school and mother is out for some work. So as soon as she knows this, she goes to the cupboard and puts all the makeup, like lipstick and everything, on her face. Tries to wear sari and looking herself in the mirror. Her mother comes home and sees everything. Her little daughter is looking herself in the mirror and then she says, Ladake Ragau Tuzakashi. This performance is so relatable for every mother-daughter relationship. So this kind of bhava she has carried throughout her performance is really beautiful.
No, I think Mrunalini, you are so blessed and fortunate to carry that lineage, because you have learned that dance form from Arundhati Tai, who is Sucheta Tai's own daughter and Shishya in that sense. And uh, fortunate are those who are able to kind of spend such moments with such great dancers like Sucheta Tai and Arundhati Tai too. So Mrunalini, any upcoming event that you have for your Bharatanatyam performance anytime soon that you are preparing for?
Yes, we do annual gathering for PPRCA Institute. So there is an upcoming event. We are going to perform Ganpati Kautukam. Kautukam means importance and all the features of Ganpati. Rachana is about his abhushana, aharya, and vahana.
So whilst there is this beautiful persona or identity of Mrunalini as a dancer, in the professional corporate world, you are playing the role of an HR professional. So what attracted you to that role, and what is it that being an HR person, you like, you enjoy, and it excites you?
I would say being HR professional, every day it's new challenge, new opportunity to grow. My role's requirement is basically to be in people and as well as to think about the management. I am handling 4 companies along with various interrelated HR functions.
So, whilst maybe the joys of the role are, understandable, because you are there to right from the recruitment process to growth, talent development, etc., etc. I'm sure it must be a high wire job. There must be some, hair tearing moments, some frustrations where you said, "Abhi bahut ho gaya." I mean, that kind of moments that happen to you.
Sometimes when it happens, then I look at it as a part of Tandav and I leave it to that and then join my dance class.
So when you come home, what is the other role that you get into? Why don't you tell us about that?
So after my office and dance class, I also have to do some routine housework. Sometimes balancing is the challenge, but then it's a part and parcel of rosy roti.
So, if you were to look at the Navarasas, Mrunalini, whether it is the Hasyaras, Raudra, Shrungar, Bibhatsa, and Shantaras, and I don't know, Karuna, etc., etc. The range of about 9 beautiful emotions that this concept of Navrasa encapsulates. Which is that one rasa that Mrunalini experiences most of the time whether she is the wife at home, the dancer, performing a Bharatanatyam act, or the HR person. Which are those one or two rasas that you find yourself mostly in?
I would relate my behavior to Shanta Rasa because my profession, if I'm always in Raudra Rasa, then people won't come to me and discuss their problems or challenges that they are facing. So that may lead to miscommunication and nothing will happen. So I would say I am a combination of Shanta Rasa and Hasya Rasa.
Yeah, I know, I can understand fully, because this balancing act is not easy. Probably the Shantaras and Hasyaras can probably be your savior in that sense. So Mrunalini, in the various roles that you're juggling at this very young and interesting stage of your life, where you have achieved a lot of things as a professional Bharatanatyam dancer. You're a teacher as well. You train a lot of students as well. What is it that you have a dream for yourself? What is it that you are looking forward to in terms of your way forward, let's say in the next couple of years?
So learning and teaching is one part of or part for the dance. I would like to attend various dance shows, festivals, and study tours, which happens in different levels in India. So attending shows and watch other dances to perform is also a learning. Career wise, of course, working in senior managerial level and handling all HR functions more effectively would be the ambition.
So, Mrunalini, this has been a very beautiful and a subtle, and can I call it a Shantaras conversation? That has been my experience over the last 35, 40 odd minutes. So how has been this conversation for you? What are you feeling right now? What is the rasanubhuti that you're having at this point in time?
Definitely, I take it as an opportunity and privilege to share my journey of Bharatanatyam with you. We all are epitome of this beautiful Indian tradition which should be passed on to many. Initially, I was a bit hesitant as I am a performer and not a speaker, but I think this is a good platform to share my views with you all.
Undoubtedly. I think the identity that comes to my mind when I listen to you just now, Pranalini, is that of a custodian or a trustee, or as they call it in Marathi or Sanskrit, a Vishwasta. So it's like as if this ancient art called Bharatanatyam, which Suchita Tai said her gurus handed it over to her, and she added her 2 cents to it, gave it to her disciples, Shishya, let's say Arundhati Tai. And then from her, she added 2 cents to it, and she handed it over to you. And in your own way, you are adding 2 cents to it. As this concept called Varsa Hakka and Varsa Vruddhi, which is what I have received as an inheritance, and what have I added to that inheritance, which is the Varsa Vruddhi, is really an opportunity available to all of us. And I think you are doing a amazing and a wonderful job to that. So wish you good luck. And I look forward to your invitation for the July event, which Asha and I would love to come and be there for you.
I am thankful to you both for having me, and also like to appreciate you both for carrying out this concept and show wonderfully. Wish you both success and regards from all of us, from all the listeners. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mrunalini. Thank you so much. And I think the whole idea is to simply celebrate simple and authentic stories such as yours, and just enjoy each one of you as you are. So once again, thank you very much, and look forward to meeting you soon. Thank you for your time today, my dear listeners. This is your host, Milind Agnihotri, signing off. Goodbye, take care, and stay safe. This podcast is for general information purposes only and should not be considered as a piece of any professional advice. Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of its guest. Creators of this podcast expressly disclaim any and all liability or responsibility for any direct or indirect, consequential, or other damages arising out of any individual's use of this podcast. For feedback and suggestions, please write to wingsindia75@gmail.com. Thank you.